In this lesson we're going to run through some different controls, this time text boxes and labels. So if we drag the button out of the way for a second, we can add some other controls. As you can see, we can resize a button much like we did for the form, and you can just drag it around to wherever you want. And if we look at the properties, you'll see that the location of that changes as well. So we want a label, so you can double click and it'll just add the label to it, or you can drag the label on. As you can see, text property a label has, much like a button and the form. So we could type your name with a colon, and then we want a text box as well. So we scroll down the text box and double click on there. You can see that there's a text box control added, and you can drag that onto the page as well. What's nice about this is you can see that it lines up to different controls on the form, so you can make it sure it's all neat and aligned. And as with all controls, this also has a name. So we're going to call this your name, and this is the control. Now you could call it your name text box. You might see some people say text your name, but for now we're just going to call it your name, much like we do in Access and VBA, where we bind the name to the table field name. So if it doesn't have a type against it, it tends to be a text box. So what would be nice is if when we run it, we enter a name, and if we say click me, we'd like it to show the name from the text box. So we're taking user input and we're going to display it on the screen. So if we press play again and run it, if we type in Alex and press click me, it's still saying hello world. Now that's because we haven't told it to take the value of the text box. So if we go onto the click me button and double click it, you can see that messagebox.show is still saying hello world. So how about we take it and put your name in there and see what happens. So we'll click run again, and your name is the name of the control, and when we type in our name and press click me, you can see it's actually saying your name. Why is that? Now it's because if you see, we've got your name in double quotes, so that's actually saying, say, like we did with hello world, see what was actually inside the string. Well, we don't want that. We want the actual property text from your name control. Now your name is an object, and as we know, an object has multiple properties, so we can't just reference your name and expect it to know what property of your name it wants to show. So it's showing a little red squiggly. If we try and compile it, we've got this build errors, and then in the error list we can see that the value of type text box cannot be converted to a string. And that's saying basically the show command, the show function from the messagebox class, is expecting a string passed to it. And your name isn't a string, it's, as it says here, your name as text box. So if we go back to the form design and we click on the text box, we know that it can have a text property. So we can pre-populate that with my name, or we can clear it like we did, which means in the code we can say we want to get the text property. And as you can see, because I was a bit fast, if we click dot, we get the IntelliSense, and if we start typing, you can see the different properties that are available on that object. So now, if we run the program and wait for it to load, if we now type in our name and click me, it's now saying Alex. It's great. But what if we wanted it to say something like hello Alex? So again, we're going to have have a string. Let's maybe capitalize it so it reads a bit nicer. And again, we're getting the red squiggly in an error, and it's saying comma or close parentheses, close bracket, or a valid expression continuation expected. Now, what does that mean? I'm just going to hide this box, and you can see it's a bit easier to read there instead of just hovering over and it disappearing when you move the mouse. So it knows that it's expecting a string, and the string is finished with the close quotes there. So we need a way of joining the string with the value from control. Now, you've probably used string concatenation before. If you haven't, I can put some links to the VBA and other courses that mention this, but as you'd expect, .NET has its own string concatenation options, and it uses the ampersand. You might have seen in other languages there's a plus. We'll use ampersand here, and we'll run it again. This time round, we'll wait for it to load, and we'll put in my name again. Click me, and as you can see, it's got hello Alex, but there's no space, so that's not particularly reading nicely. So how can we fix that? Well, we can add in an extra space in the string there. We could put hello comma Alex if we wanted, and we could even finish it off with a period. And if we run this and then fill in the name again, press click me, we can see that it's saying hello Alex, and that reads a lot nicer. So we've just used labels and text boxes to make the application a bit more user friendly and take input from a user. So obviously it just had a button that did a pop-up. We want to kind of take content from the user and use that in a particular way. That's it for this lesson.